That's what I'm talking about. I got a double here.
So my first rule of Alaska is, if you have an opportunity to go, take it, no matter what you got going on. There's always time for that stuff later. When I got a chance to go up the end of August, that's exactly what I did. Salmon season was pretty well over. Standing shoulder to shoulder with a guy I don't know, trying to catch one of the last remaining salmon's never been my thing. This is my sort of thing. Not a soul for miles. While salmon season's pretty much over, I happen to know that the streams are full of trout and dollies feasting on the eggs that are floating down the stream. Just like any time you're fishing, locating the fish is always the first step. I wasn't having much success here. The water's crystal clear. I should be able to see fish, and there's just nothing going on. Plenty of salmon, but no trout or dollies. It took me a couple hours, and I fished about a mile of the stream before I determined there was just nothing here to catch. Time to move on. Oh, there was plenty of salmon eggs, just no fish. After driving for an hour or so, I came across this beautiful blue glacier stream. It looked just right, so I braved the bears, crashed through the brush, decided to give it a shot. Of course, whistling a little bit to let them know I'm coming. That way they can eat me right off the bat. I honestly didn't go that far, maybe a couple 100 yards. Came across this hole, decided to stop crashing through the brush, annoying the bears, and get to fishing. Of course, as I'm fishing, I'm always looking over my shoulder, just to make sure nothing's sneaking up on me. I didn't even realize I'd hooked that fish till I went to make the next cast. At least now I know there's fish here. That's always a good sign. Where there's one, there's likely to be more. Now we just got to get back to fishing. So we're going to let this guy go and give it a shot. Of course, that's easier said than done for me. I found another couple fish, but not in the numbers I was expecting.
Nice little rainbow.
Thing about these Alaska trout and dollies, they fight way harder than I would expect. Probably because they've been eating nothing but eggs for the last month or so they got plenty of energy. I started fishing upstream.
Dolly.
I didn't have to go very far before the fishing got significantly better. That's not how it usually works for me. There's this nice gentle bend, and the dollies were just sitting right off the edge of it. Gotta look again for bears. Don't get too focused on the fishing, that's for sure. There's this nice gentle drop-off right on the edge of this hole, and the dollies would hang out in there. It definitely wasn't a fish per cast, but I don't want it that way anyways. That'd make it boring. But every 4 or 5 minutes, I'd hook into them. Sometimes they'd be small, sometimes they'd be pretty good sized.
That thing blends in so well. That's what I'm talking about. I got a double here. Yeah, had two nice ones too. Look at that. That is pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Double! Yeah. Okay, that was an easy release. Touched you count. That's a nice dolly there. That's a nice dolly. Hey, you're going the wrong way. Going the wrong way. There you go.
I'm more of a run and gun type angler, rather than sitting and working the same hole for hours. I can't help myself, but I keep moving upstream. Seems like if you work the same hole for very long, fish get wise to you. As I fished the top of this run, I was still catching fish, although wasn't landing them all. But that's okay, just easier to release them.
That feels like a nice one. Yeah. About the same, I guess.
Great thing about video is even though I was 10 or 15 casts between fish, I can make it look like I was catching a fish every cast, and you won't know the difference. Just like I'm doing here. Ain't no reason for people to know I'm catching just as many trees as I am fish. In reality, once I got around that bend, I fished for about 15 minutes with nothing. It was kind of disturbing. However, I plunked that egg out into the deep, fast current, and that's when
There
I
we
hooked
go.
into something really
Nice
nice.
guy, I think. Good sized fish, though. Yeah, that's a nice dolly there. Yeah, that's a good one. That's what we're talking about there. That's a dolly to write home about.
An old timer I met on a river in southeast Alaska showed me this quick release tool. It makes releasing fish a whole lot easier, even when they're hooked really well.
Another good fish here.
I'd have to set that egg down in just the right spot, but if I hit that spot, almost every time I did, I'd pull up not just a dolly, but a really nice one. I caught more nice dollies in this little section than the whole rest of the trip combined. There was just something special about that run.
I think it was just nice.
Eventually, I was back to catching more trees than fish, so it was time to find another place. So, I was back to crashing through the brush, whistling as I went. That way either the bears would eat me right away, or they'd head the other direction. Nothing came out of the brush to eat me, so eventually I came to this beautiful lake. The stream was dumping right into it. It was chock full of bright red sockeye salmon, as far as you could see. It looked like a great place to fish, especially with that nice gravel bank. As much as I wanted to, I couldn't hog the river all to myself. I figured the least I could do, show the guy the egg pattern that was working for me. There was plenty of fish.
Keep going. Yeah. Oh, no, none of my friends believe me when you say you can get skunked in Alaska, but it's not all that hard. Like if your timing's off by a week.
Although this hole looked amazing, the only thing I did was manage to foul hook a couple of sockeye salmon. Now an angry sockeye can do a number to a 5-weight trout rod, so it was time to move on before they completely destroyed my day and my rod. So it was back to crashing through the brush, trying to find bears or anything else that wanted to eat me. And if the bears don't want to eat you, you could always just fall in this fast-moving stream. That'd be a good way to ruin your day as well. Never trust an alder either. It'll break on you just when you need it most. I was still disappointed over that last hole, so I just started prospecting my way up the river, looking for anything. There had to be some dollies around here somewhere.
Dolly by the fin.
This little run didn't let me down. I caught 3 or 4 fish out of it. I didn't get great video, but one of the amazing things about the fish in this hole was they were in full spawning colors. They were some of the most gorgeous fish I'd seen in Alaska in a long time. When that hole dried up, then it was just time to head back upstream till I found the fish. Guess where that was? Right where I'd been fishing first thing this morning. I didn't catch as many fish as I did in the morning. I worked them over pretty hard, but those big fish were still sitting right in that little seam, and if I could get that egg where it needed to be, they were still as cooperative as ever. After a bit, all the fish in the hole had really sore lips. For some reason, they weren't cooperating anymore, so it's time to head upstream. At this point, honestly, I was starting to feel a little bit greedy. I'd caught more fish today than like my last 3 or 4 trips combined. I still caught plenty of fish on the rest of the way back to the car. However, now the experience became more about enjoying the Alaska wilderness and everything it has to provide than just pulling fish out of the water.
That's how you catch trees right there. Nice dolly.
To be honest, sometimes I just get so focused on catching fish that I forget the whole reason that I'm out there. This is my excuse to see country most other people don't, and to have experiences that most people don't even know is a possibility. Honestly, it was a near perfect day. The right river, the right fish, and the right fly all came together. I probably couldn't repeat that experience if I tried. And I'm not sure I want to try. In a few weeks, all these reds will be dead, washed out to the ocean. There won't be any food, so there'll be no reason for the dollies and trout to stick around. It'll be just like that stream where there wasn't a fish for miles. It might be midsummer before this stream sees fish like that again. When I got back to my car, I was just thankful that I got to enjoy this stream on this day with these fish. I'll probably have 3 or 4 failed trips before I have another one as good as this. But the thing that keeps me coming back is knowing that another trip just like this could happen any day.